So good afternoon, everyone. You are welcome to yet another section in our webinar monthly presentation at the Center of Excellence in Migration and Global Studies of the National Open University of Nigeria. Today, we have a very stimulating topic to be treated by an amiable-looking person, even though I've not met her. However, before I go on to introduce her, I'm going to start to remind you a little more about our Center of Excellence in Migration and Global Studies. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor Olufemi Peters, I say a big welcome to you all. And I hope that we shall all enjoy today's presentation in a special way. This center was put up about 4 years ago, February 2020, with a seed fund from TED Fund. And since then, the center has been on and waxing stronger and stronger. Kudos to the amiable Vice Chancellor of this university, who is all out to support the activities of this center. Our core mandates include to provide leverage for field-based and solution-driven research, to serve as agents of national policy for migration studies, to seek grants for academic activities and outreach for sustainability, to publish and sustain peer-reviewed academic journal and monograph series, to collaborate with stakeholders in the field and policymakers, to organize occasional seminars, conferences, and public lectures. Of course, our seminar is no more occasional, it's very, very regular. And of course, early this year, we had a workshop, sensitization workshop, and by God's grace, we will make that also a routine very soon, at least maybe an annual occurrence. So, and on this note, I would just want to stop there because we are always having the habit of being very punctual in this center. We keep to time. And I know that the presenter of today will also be happy when we keep to time. So I'm going to introduce the presenter for today, and she's no other than Mrs. Sarah Temitope Omogbemi, MBA. She is currently studying abroad. She's a PhD student. So we are happy to have her here. And from the first day I contacted her, through one of us here, Professor Akinwale, she has always shown the willingness to deliver on this webinar without any force, very willing, and I really appreciate her for being here today. She's currently pursuing
we can hear you.
Administration at the Birmingham City University in the United Kingdom with an entrepreneurship and innovation, strategic human resource management, strategic leadership and management, marketing, managerial, finance, business and management research, and global operations management. Prior to this, Sarah obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Relations and Personnel Management from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, where her final year dissertation focused on human resource management practices and employee performance using EcoBank Transnational Inc. as a case study. In addition to academic pursuits, Sarah is a serial entrepreneur, successfully running several fashion clothing business in Nigeria. That's good though. Sarah, you should let me come and bring my clothes because I need that. Yes. Okay, in Nigeria, which continues to thrive even, lower that please, even as the business are all managed remotely from the UK. That is great, oh, you see, this is the type of person we want to see here. She's in the UK and sewing for us in Nigeria. Then when will I do my fitting? I'm sure Sarah will tell me. how I will do my fitting, whether she will pay my ticket to UK because I'm ready to come. And so the experience of dealing with challenges such as employee turnover has deepened Sarah's interest in exploring the link between human resource management practices and employee retention, making her current research particularly significant. Sarah is also a member of the Chartered Management Institute, CMI, in the United Kingdom, reflecting their commitment to professional development and excellence in management. Outside of work and studies, Sarah enjoys traveling, designing, and exploring new ideas and cultures. These hobbies not only provide a creative outlet, but also inspire innovative thinking in both their professional and academic endeavors. Sarah's diverse experience blends academic rigor with real-world business challenges, providing a unique perspective on the practical applications of human resource theories. This combination of academic knowledge, professional affiliation, and entrepreneurial experience positions Sarah as a well-rounded professional, deeply interested in contributing to the field of business management through research and practical implementation. As an emerging business management expert, Sarah aims to further explore and address the complexities of business management, employee retention, and organizational development, particularly in the context of small to medium-sized enterprises and their role in economic growth. Sarah's long-term goals include developing strategies and interventions that support sustainable business practices and enhance workforce stability in both entrepreneurial and corporate settings worldwide. I am very happy that Sarah is a very innovative person. From this profile, she will go places. So I'm happy. And in fact, the bold steps she has taken to be on this platform tells me that she will go places. Today, she's going to discuss with us challenges of talent retention in SMEs, a survey of African entrepreneurs in the UK operating businesses in their home countries. And I wish that many youths were here today to come and see this, that you can do things from afar. You don't have to really be there. You can contribute and make money both in and out of your country. So this is a very motivating one. And I am sure we are all excited to hear this topic, and we are all ready and eager to listen to this young woman tell us how and why she went into all of this. So I'm very happy to welcome you, Mrs. Sarah Omogbemi, to this platform. And I say over to you for your presentation. You have 35 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to you, Ma, for the exceptional introduction. I also want to say a big thank you to the Center of Excellence for creating this platform for, both up and coming and expert academic professionals to be able to present their ideas to, people all over the world. So thank you all for joining me today. It is a great honor to be able to present my topic on this platform. First of all, I'd like to point out that my dad is an alumnus of the National Open University of Nigeria. Yeah.
That's great.
And also my mom, growing up, she was a serial entrepreneur. So that kind of shaped me to become who I am today. So this topic is not only close to my heart, but it's also crucial for the sustainability of small and medium-sized enterprises in Africa and all over the world. So like you mentioned, my presentation is titled Challenges of Talent Retention in SMEs. It is a survey of African entrepreneurs in the UK who are operating their businesses in their home countries. In this discussion, I will delve into the unique challenges that African entrepreneurs face when managing talent across borders, particularly in the dynamic and often challenging landscape of SME operations in Africa. I'll use myself as a case study, as an example. I have having first-hand experience in running a business in Nigeria while pursuing, my further education in the UK. I have witnessed the complexity and the pivotal role that talent retention plays in the success of businesses, especially. So I would like to say that my research stems from my own journey and the desire to address a critical issue that affects not only business owners, but the broader economic framework in Africa. So now I would move on to share my slides. The concept of acquiring and retaining valuable employees cannot be overstated for, especially small businesses, because our business basically, apart from the fact that we need our clients to run a successful business, a sustainable business, we also need the manpower that would provide customer service to our clients, both when we are present in the country or when we are, not present to run the business. So according to some academic professionals, they stated that employees are universally acknowledged as vital assets for organizations, where they play an important role in fostering growth and also helping the business to achieve a competitive edge, which I cannot agree more to this statement, because despite the fact that we as the business owners, we have the idea, we have the resources to carry out our business. We cannot do that alone. So even if it means us employing one or two employees to help us to create a team of workers to be able to achieve business development and growth, that makes our employees to be vital assets to the sustainability of that business, not only our resources and our presence. So furthermore, Cooper argued that small enterprises contribute to and enhance economic growth in most regions globally through job opportunities, expansion of the task base, and bolstering government revenue, which is actually very true, because if you look at the next bullet point, in Africa, to be precise, small and medium-sized enterprises typically make up 90% of all businesses, and we contribute approximately 50 to 60% of the total national workforce. This was reported by the Global Compact in a 2004 survey. It has also been shown by researchers that entrepreneurs in diaspora, that is entrepreneurs abroad, also make significant contributions to the economies of our home countries by running our small businesses, paying tasks, also adding to the employment sector in our home country, like by providing employment for graduates or people with school leaving certificates and all that. So I'll move on to the next slide. So the reason why I decided to research on this project is not only because it's dear to my heart, but because it's an actual problem that is going on in Africa. According to Direct Line Group, they reported that nearly 64% of small businesses in Africa struggle to retain valued staff in the current economic climate. And this was just last year. And in this 64%, 39% of African small businesses are unable to expand their business operations due to the economic uncertainty. So one common approach that has been adopted by organizations to retain talent, because we're also going to talk about talent retention, the strategies to employ when you want to retain your staff. So a common approach adopted by organization is to offer more compensation and benefits packages. But this is not usually sustainable for small business owners in the long run, because, in as much as we have resources, those resources are quite limited. We cannot always throw in money when, the staff come to complain about, inadequate salaries or inadequate benefits. So even if it can help to solve the problem of retention in a short period of time, it is not sustainable, long term. In the second bullet points, I also delved into another study by Workforce Africa that revealed that approximately 30% of small business employees in Kenya have resigned from their position due to various factors beyond salary. So this could be because there is no succession plan in their organization, or due to toxic work environments, or insufficient recognition and reward. Most importantly, recently, I think after the during COVID-19, that was when, the work-life balance was kind of introduced and made aware by a lot of people all over the world. So people resign from their job too due to inadequate work-life balance. So ensuring effective talent is vital to sustain business success, economic growth, and industry competitiveness. Therefore, it is crucial to tackle this issue, necessitating comprehensive understanding of the talent retention challenges and also the talent retention strategies that are required to facilitate the ideal state where talent thrives. So I'll move on to the next slide, which is my research aim and objectives. So one of my objectives of the study is to identify the specific talent retention challenges that are experienced strictly by African entrepreneurs in the UK that are managing their businesses back home. The second one is to examine talent retention strategies that are employed by these entrepreneurs to address these challenges and assess how effective they are. Moving forward to the research questions that I utilized when I was collecting data and also conducting my interviews. The first one is, what are the distinctive talent retention challenges faced by African entrepreneurs residing in the UK while managing businesses in their home countries? And the second question is, how do African entrepreneurs in the UK navigate and overcome talent retention challenges within the intricate dynamics of cross-border business management in their home country? I know this second one is quite a lot, but as we move on in this discussion, you would see how it's been broken down for easy understanding. So the next slide. So moving on to my literature reviews, I touched on 5 literatures. I talked about talent retention challenges, talent retention strategies. I also listed 2 strategies that I felt was crucial apart from competitive salary. I listed 2 strategies that I felt were crucial in the retention of talent in small businesses, and they are work-life balance and empowering leadership as a talent retention strategy. So I will just go through just the 2 strategies that I mentioned briefly due to time. So in terms of work-life balance, the idea of work-life balance is also described as a flexible work arrangement. And this flexible work arrangement has gathered a lot of attention from both scholars and practitioners, and it is now central to discussions in human resource management. I remember back when I was in university obtaining my BSc, we rarely talked about work-life balance. Like I said, it was during the COVID-19 that, it became quite popular to people, and it was now a topic to discuss and a topic to research on and improve on, which is what most organizations, both small and large organizations, they adopted this strategy to retaining some of their most of their employees, as they introduced the work from home, and the hybrid working and all of that. So work-life balance basically is defined as the extent to which an individual is engaged in and equally content with their professional and family life. So this balance is not solely determined by the time allocated to each role. It is also determined by the employee's level of engagement and satisfaction in both their professional and family lives. I'm going to cite Stooges and Guests of 2024. They explain that work-life balance is not just balance between work and family, but also between work and the rest of, the employee's personal life. Based off of this strategy, there was a survey that was carried out in 2019, and it showed that a significant over 80% of employees prioritize jobs that provide work flexibility. Even up till now, when I'm applying for jobs, I look at their work flexibility. If it's strictly an on-site role, I'm most likely to pass on that. But for hybrid roles and remote roles, it piques my interest as well to, try to apply and see what they offer and all that. So it is a strategy to not only retain your staff, but also to attract talent. If I do say so myself. So I'll move on to empowering leadership as a talent retention strategy. So empowering leadership, I wouldn't lie, I did not hear about this particular topic until when I started doing my dissertation, when I was doing my research and I came across empowering leadership. It is basically training your staff, or looking at the potentials of your employees, and taking an interest in maybe one or two of your staff that have shown real potential in professional growth, and kind of take them under your wings and mentor them to attain leadership positions in your business. So for this topic, two primary framework are often highlighted in the context of workplace empowerment. And the first one revolves around the psychological dimension, which basically focuses on employee perception of psychological empowerment. This was proposed by Spretzer of 1995. Also, the second framework delves into the structural empowerment. So the first framework, which I mentioned, was the psychological empowerment, involves 4 dimensions, which are the meaningfulness, competence, self-determination, and efficacy. While the structural framework involves organizations actively investing in employees through leadership empowerment, training and development, career advancement projects, and all of that. So I would say that the first one, which is the psychological empowerment, is mostly important in retaining your employees, because even if you spend so much money investing on your staff, providing them with trainings, career advancements programs, and all of that, if they are not determined within themselves, if it's not a psychological push for them to advance their skills, then it would be like putting water in baskets, basically. So you have to kind of notice your employees and see the ones that really have that push for greatness. And then when you invest in them, when you do the structural empowerment for them, it will be a very good investment for your business, for the sustainability and success of your business in the long run. So I would move on to my theoretical framework. So for this research, I only did theoretical framework. I did not do empirical framework due to the word count of the dissertation. So for my theoretical framework, I focused on just one theory, which is the job embeddedness theory, because I feel like this was more in line with my topic and also with getting solutions to address the challenges of talent retention. So job embeddedness theory was first introduced by Michelle and some other scholars in 2001, and it focuses on factors influencing employee retention rather than the reason for turnover, which is great because we don't want to focus on the reason why people are quitting. We want to focus more on how to reduce these turnover numbers, how to increase retention in our organization, how to increase business growth, business success in the long run, which is why, like I said, I chose this particular theory after doing in-depth research on different theories about talent retention. So this theory does not explain voluntary employee turnover. It emphasizes the elements that binds employees to their organization. Now, I will also link this particular statement to the psychological empowerment that I discussed when I was talking about empowering leadership. So it all has to do with the decision, the mindset of your employees, how to improve that mindset, how to make them see the need to further remain with your company and not voluntarily want to resign based on just inadequate salary or benefits, basically. So this theory provides a firm theoretical framework to elucidate the factors encouraging employee retentions by considering both on the job and off the job influences. So Allen and some other scholars in 2010 explained the model for job embeddedness, and they explained that it comprises of 3 dimensions, which are links, fit, and sacrifice, which respectively emphasize connections within the organization or the broader community. In terms of links, it denotes affiliation with individuals or groups like colleagues, mentors, and acquaintances. So it basically means, the relationship I have developed, or the relationship that employees have developed with their employers or with their managers or with their colleagues. It is more it is possible for them to remain on the job based on how positive that relationship is, or based on how toxic that relationship is. Also, in terms of fit relates to an employee's perceived compatibility with that role, organization, and community. This also links back to the psychological empowerment. If the employees feel like they are a great fit mentally and physically for that job, even if you're not paying as much as they want to be paid at that point, but because they feel like they see the vision of the business, they see the vision of their contribution in the long run to that business, that would influence their decision to remain with that organization. Then moving on to sacrifice signifies the potential losses an employee might incur, including financial benefits, positive work environment, career advancement, and societal status upon leaving a position. So take, for instance, a manager in a fashion brand suddenly decides to leave that work environment, despite the fact that the manager is being paid well, the work environment is very positive and very, united. And the CEO of the company has arranged for career advancement programs for the said managers and all of that. Imagine the manager just leaving that company, he or she would be forfeiting these benefits, which might take a while for him or her to see in another organization. So this sacrifice is also an influence in the decision for whether an employee decides to leave the organization or remain with the organization. So the harmony of job embeddedness dimension summarizes the forces deterring employees from leaving their roles. Job embeddedness theory will be employed in this research to address and navigate the talent retention challenges faced by African entrepreneurs managing cross-border businesses in their respective countries. So, like I said, this is the sole reason why I decided to go with this particular theory. It fits my it fits the objectives of my project, of my research. It is also an eye-opener to see beyond, the material things such as salaries, more benefits. It opens your eyes to see that it is more than that for some employees. Not all employees only want money. Some want, recognition. Some want to feel connected to their job emotionally, mentally. Some of them, they want, they just want to feel respected in their place of work, which is what this particular theories actually focuses on. So I'll move on to the methodology. So for my methodology slide, I did not want to put in so many, I didn't want to put in all the, subheadings under my methodology. So please feel free to note down your questions, any questions that you may have, based on what you can find in my methodology slide. And I'll be more than happy to answer at the end of this discussion. So under my methodology, for my research approach, I used the mixed method methodology by incorporating both qualitative and quantitative research methods. My strategy was grounded in an inductive research approach where data collection begins with observations and ends with theory or, broader generalization. This approach also provides a holistic understanding of the research problem by capturing both numerical and personal insights. The combination of both methods enhances the validity and reliability of the research findings. So for my research strategy, the strategy chosen for my study was non-random sampling technique. Excuse me. The survey provide a structured means of collecting data from a large sample, making them particularly suitable for exploring the talent retention challenges across diverse African diasporan entrepreneurs. This strategy also allows for systematic data collection and facilitates statistical analysis, thereby enabling identification of patterns and trends related to the talent retention challenges. So if we have time, I can as well share my screen and show you guys the appendix of my study where I put in my analysis was there, my in-depth analysis was there, both the quantitative and the qualitative, the sampling arrangement, the interviews, everything was in my appendix. That's if we have enough time to do that. If not, then you can just contact me personally to share that with you, and I would not
Don't
mind to
worry,
do
you
that.
can share it. Do you have it now or is later you are talking about?
Later when I'm discussing
Okay.
about my
All right.
analysis.
All right, no
Yes.
problem. You can share it.
Okay, ma. So I'll move on now to okay, I think I'd like to share it now before I move on to the discussion, because this discussion is basically linking my objectives to the findings, which is my my data analysis. So let me just quickly share that. This is my quantitative. Can everybody see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So this is my quantitative, both the questionnaires and the statistics. So I had 50 participants. It had to be based on the instructions given to me by my professors at the university. We had to the minimum participants we could use was 50, and thankfully I had 50 participants willing to participate in the survey for my research. Um, so this one is my qualitative demographics. I only had to use 5% of my participants in the quantitative to be able to use them for my quantitative analysis and for my qualitative analysis, sorry. And due to privacy, I may not be able to show you I can't really, I don't think you can really see this analysis. This was my qualitative analysis that was done with NVivo. NVivo, this was the transcript rather, that was done with the NVivo app. And based on my research questions, that was what I used to generate questions for my participants. I'm just going to breeze through some of the questions that actually answered, that actually is linked to the objective and aims of my studies. So the first one would be um, yes, this number one question is actually linked to my objective, which is, can you describe the talent retention challenges you have encountered while managing your business in your home country from the UK? Based off of okay, this is my quantitative. I wanted to talk about my quantitative. Yeah, so based on the quantitative questions, um, yeah, sorry, yeah. So based on I used lack of competitive salary as one of the challenges of talent retention. And based on this one, we had a total of 72 participants that agreed that it was an issue with retaining their staff. Like, this is one of the reasons why their employees leave the organization, because they do not offer competitive salaries. Then limited growth opportunities. I was able to accumulate a response. 68% of participants agreeing to the fact that the the option of limited growth opportunities poses as a threat to their business in terms of retaining their employees. And this one is training and development opportunities. So I would link limited growth opportunities and training and development opportunities as, you know, under empowering leadership, like I mentioned in my literature review. These are also products of empowering their employees to leadership positions. And also here we had 58% of the participants say agreeing to the fact that this is part of the reason why their staff leave their organization. Um, so, so in this, even though this statistics shows that uh, competitive salary is the leading cause to why employees are not staying with their organization, it is also important to note that these other two are also following competitive salary quite closely in the reason why, as part of the reason why employees are leaving organizations. And this just shows that we need to focus more on how to provide these opportunities for employees rather than just facing, tackling talent retention challenges with just competitive salaries. And also investing in growth opportunities and training and development opportunities. So that is what I would collect from this data. um So also here, for as a strategy, using competitive salaries as a strategy, here we have 56% agreeing, a total of 76% agreeing that competitive salaries is an effective retention strategy rather. And for training and development, here says 86%. This is actually more than the competitive salary. So 86% of our participants agree that limited growth of training and development programs are effective in retaining their staff, which brings me back to the fact that empowering leadership is an understated topic in talent retention strategies that we need to focus on and work on in order to enhance talent retention in small businesses. Also, I talked about flexible work arrangements. That is the work-life balance that I mentioned earlier in my literature review, and a whooping sum of 62%, 86% actually agree that work-life balance is an effective talent retention strategy. So like I said, even me myself, I'm using myself as an example. When I try to apply for jobs, when I see, I tend to lean more towards jobs with remote working in opportunities and remote working settings and hybrid working settings as opposed to on-site settings, depending on the nature of that job. There are some jobs that you have to do on site, but for the purpose of the jobs that you can work from home, you can do from home, it is important for us to utilize the work flexibility, that option in order to retain our staff and also attract valuable staff to the organization. I also talked about mentorship programs as a talent retention strategy, and a total of 82% 82% agreeing that it is very significant. It's a significant talent retention strategy that help to sustain their business and also promote business growth. So basically, like I said, I try to limit my findings, even though I kind of expanded it a little bit in my analysis by breaking down empowering leadership into I broke it down into development and mentorship and career structured career development program. All these are also linked to empowering leadership in the long run. So this analysis proved that empowering leadership is vital and should be looked at by a lot of small business owners so that they can increase their talent retention in their organizations. So I'm going to go back to my slides. Yes. And we are going to discuss those findings, link those findings to, so I'm going to just keep on to my discussion. So based on my research aim, I stated there that I wanted to identify the specific talent retention challenges that is being experienced by African entrepreneurs in the UK. And from my findings, you can see that competitive salaries was part of it. Limited growth opportunity and inadequate training and development were key when discussing with these participants. They listed this as they confirmed and agreed that these three issues were one of the reasons why they have large employee turnover in their organization. So written here, I said, although competitive salaries and benefit packages have been a major obstacle in retaining workers among small businesses, the issue of limited growth poses a distinctive retention challenge as well. For instance, a significant proportion of these entrepreneurs recognize the need to overcome career growth limitations to prevent voluntary turnover. This finding aligns with Cormier's and some other scholars who posited that employees are likely to remain with an organization if they believe such organization provides career growth and opportunities. I mean, I know that, given the size of, the case study that I worked on, which are small businesses, they might not have the resources to provide career growth opportunities. But, in the past few years, they've made things so much easier. If you go on LinkedIn, if you go on, if you go online, you will see there are some career advancement courses that you can take for free. I remember when I started my first job in 2017 as a market researcher. I also, it was a small business at that time, and my employer tried to ensure that we were, growing career wise. It provided us with some career, growth courses that were free online. We took some Excel classes that were free online. We took some, research classes that were free online, market research classes. So I want to encourage small business owners to do their research on, growth opportunities that would be useful in their respective industries to their employees. So furthermore, another challenge identified in the interviews with participants. So this is linked to my qualitative survey. Another challenge identified with participants is the difficulty in maintaining regular and effective communication with team members due to geographical distance. Yeah, I was supposed to touch more on this, but due to the time, I'll just summarize. Some businesses, given the fact that we are living in a technological era now, things have been made easy for us. For instance, if I need to do a meeting with my team members back in Nigeria, I can just, create a Zoom link or a Teams link. We normally use Teams, create a Teams link. Or if I don't have the time to do all of that, there's WhatsApp video call for me to, communicate to my team members and be kept updated about the progress of the job going on back home while I'm here. So when I spoke to some of the participants for the qualitative research, they made mention of this, which is, it's a significant issue, but they also acknowledge the fact that utilizing these virtual tools like Zoom, WhatsApp, Teams, it has helped them to maintain like close communication with their team members and also kind of bridge the gap, the gap or the abs or their absence in their workplace. So also, participants reported a lack of proximity made it difficult for them to foster a personal connection with employees, which they believe is essential for building trust, understanding employee needs, and addressing any concerns affecting turnover immediately. This is also very true in my, based on my experience. But like I said, when you utilize these virtual tools more, you will see that the distance that you feel like is there, it's really not there. Because if you prioritize, if you set, if you schedule your meetings with them not to clash with your life here in the UK or abroad or US, wherever you are, you can effectively manage your business and also help you to foster a personal connection with your employees. Like for me, I made it clear to my employees that they can reach me whatever time of the day. If when I'm available, I respond to them. They don't have to go through email or long processes. They can just reach me through my personal WhatsApp. And I believe that has also given them a sense of closeness to me as their boss, to make them believe that they can, no matter what they are going through personally or business wise, they can always reach out to me and they would get a response back from me immediately. So that has also helped me to create a personal connection with my employees. And I believe that has also helped a lot of small business owners to have that sense of closeness with their employees back home. So linking my findings to my second objective, which is to examine the strategies employed by these entrepreneurs to address talent retention challenges and also to assess their effectiveness. So according to the participants, competitive salaries are undeniably important in talent retention, acting as a compelling incentive for skilled worker, particularly within competitive industries. Also, studies have shown that competitive salaries do not only attract employees, but also encourages a sense of value and commitment of those employees, which is actually really true. Money talks in our world, to be honest. But furthermore, participants highlight the growing significance of work-life balance in modern day workplace. The surge of popularity of flexible arrangements, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic, has been notable, replacing the traditional work models. So by offering flexibility, African entrepreneurs can meet diverse employee needs, can also promote a supportive environment that boosts satisfaction, productivity, and retention, according to Kozek et al. 2017. Also complementing the competitive salary and flexible work arrangement strategies in this era of remote work management, virtual meeting. In this era of remote work rather, virtual meetings have emerged as an indispensable tool in this survey. Like I mentioned earlier, it is encouraged for business owners to utilize the virtual tools that have been provided for meetings, for follow-ups, for maintaining, keeping an eye on how the operations of their business are going, even in their absence. The need to utilize these virtual tools are very important. So the strong agreement among participants on the effectiveness explains the importance in bridging geographical gaps and facilitating consistent communication and collaboration. This approach not only streamlines remote team management, but also aligns with the evolving dynamics of cross-border business operations, offering African entrepreneurs a strategic edge in managing their businesses effectively across border. So this will bring me to the end of my topic, to the end of the discussion slide. Now we're moving on to my recommendation based off of the findings from my survey. So grounded on an extensive look at the talent retention issues and tactics among the African entrepreneurs operating small businesses in their home countries while residing in the UK, some critical recommendations to improve effectiveness of talent management strategies within the group emerge. To begin with, a significant area to pay attention to in tackling the issue of retention is to employ a variety of highly effective strategies that promote team inclusiveness, cohesion, satisfaction, and loyalty. So we can utilize strategies such as work-life balance, empowering leadership, also putting a competitive salary, but that is not going to be the main focus. It will be, work-life balance, empowering leadership, training and development, ensuring, close connection with your employees, utilizing the virtual tools to ensure that they don't feel like you are up there while they are down there. So you need to try to create a sense of belonging among your team members in order for them to be loyal to your organization and also to be satisfied in their professional life. It is also important for business owners to refine and restructure these retention strategies as often as possible, as these efforts can create a positive work environment in which workers enjoy their jobs. Working with a mentor can also be educational and develop a future workforce that will add to the productivity and innovation of the business, while simultaneously promoting loyalty among employees. Additionally, there's a need for these entrepreneurs to examine the productivity of their retention plan using the tools of regular feedback and performance indicators remotely consistently. Moreover, providing a work environment that tends to the issue of work-life balance and employee welfare will additionally advance retention drives. Besides, African entrepreneurs must stay in tune with the changing scene of talent retention practices and incorporate emerging technologies and trends into their recruitment and selection strategies. So, like I said, it's not enough for you to set these strategies in place. You need to review. As small business owner, I advise that we review these strategies, see where we can improve, see where we need to cut back. And it's also important to carry your team along. Also speak to them about the strategies, speak to them about, your ideas. Also welcome their ideas for, to ideas that would improve their work life, their productivity at work. It will also give them a sense of belonging, a sense of, unity, that yes, they matter in the organization, and that would affect them eventually, gain their commitment and their loyalty to your organization, which ultimately would reduce the rate of employee turnover. So thank you. That is the end of my presentation. I hope this was very insightful, and feel free to ask any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I can tell you that it was quite insightful. Thank you for that wonderful presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
And a job well done. Well, I like to listen to business people because I am not really business minded myself. So
Mm.
some people, I don't know, some people are gifted. I think they are, but then with these techniques you have described, maybe some of us who have never done business can begin to look into it as
Consider
a
it,
possible,
yeah.
as a possible option. So, but this um remote job,
Yes,
of
ma'am.
course, I know it's very, very common now these days because, like you have rightly said, technology and all that.
Yeah.
And of course, even more common in the Western world
Mm.
than even Nigeria from observation. That's an observational as saying, because I've not done any research to really say where is it commoner, Nigeria or there. But I think it is commoner in the Western world. But people get skeptical about it. I don't know whether you have gotten any experience in this so that you can tell us. You see, we will ask you questions at the end. You will answer. You won't answer now. You just keep and just keep
Okay.
noting the
Okay.
questions. So you will answer at the end. Some have fallen into dubious hands from remote operation. I'm in
Okay.
Nigeria. I will always see fast
Yes.
the ones that are dubious in Nigerian factor.
Yeah.
Somebody employs you, you have done it, you are doing the work for the person. Some of them are not even so remote. Maybe it's hybrid. You keep going with your own fuel, especially in the Western world. I'm talking this the one I'm telling you. I'm just trying to recount an experience from somebody over there. And at the end of the day, the person spends 1 month. Of course, the first month you pay the person is happy. Second month you pay the person. By the third month you owe the person. The fourth month you owe the person. The fifth month you tell the person bye-bye. So that even if the person wanted to take a small leave, the person is not eligible, has been working. Even if the person wanted money, because he's now working remotely, he's not really able to observe that you are even without this money to pay. You were only using that person to see whether you can come up again. I don't know whether you are getting what I'm saying. So it's very, I know you can have it in jobs that are physical, in person, but the remote one is really easier to deceive people, and it's commoner there. So what can one do? Is it, of course, you say you get your paper and wonder whether, sign agreements, legal papers and all that. But the way they hit you, for you to go back and go to court may also be difficult for you, except you have people who are going to stand in for you. If it's difficult because the money you don't have that they are owing you, that you don't have money, and to go to court overseas, I think it's quite tough a bit because of the money. So that's one thing I wanted to address. How can we protect ourselves more to get a job remotely and know that we are not just wasting our time serving people who will not give us our pay at the end of it all? So I think I would just say only that so that I give people. I said you didn't really classify this, maybe it's in your work. You didn't really, you said small to medium size enterprise. I think would have appreciated, maybe it's there, I didn't pick it, would have appreciated if you tell us the categories. Which ones are these small ones? Which ones are small to medium? Which ones are large? Just for us that are not in that line to use the term rightly and understand it better. I guess it will be in your introduction, in your work, but you didn't really bring it out in this discourse for better understanding of this audience. I don't know. So those are the two things I just needed to address, for me, perhaps, and for everybody. So let me now call my people. The first hand up, okay, Professor Tijani, followed by Professor Akinwale. So, Professor Tijani, you are welcome, sir. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. If you're hearing the background noise, I'm at the airport. Don't mind the background showing Morgan. I'm actually at the airport connecting. I did not join earlier, but I listened to greater part of the presentation. And I think I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Talent hunting and talent management as an aspect of migration, since the center is so titled Migration and Global Studies. I think if the focus is not directly looking into that, it is also something that is indirectly focusing on such topical issue that you may want to look into in the future. I was going to ask you the focus, the target group rather, for your survey. And now I believe you were basically looking at companies in the UK. Okay. If not, can you just share that with us and the demographic nature of the people interviewed? Lastly, I think the issue of talent hunting and management would also be contextualized with some concepts in the migration field. Is a major reason that we're seeing migration both physically and virtually. You talked about the use of Zoom and other media. We're also migrating in that context. So, but I should commend you for this presentation. I'm not too sure whether it is a doctoral thesis, it is a master's thesis, it's an ongoing independent work. But from what you showed us, apart from the PowerPoint, thinking is either a thesis or dissertation. But I commend your effort and thank you for sharing knowledge. One has benefited within this, business management or administration discipline. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that contribution, Prof. And now over to Professor Akinwale.
Yeah, this is a very great study and an excellent presentation. I commend Sarah for the audacity. Let me borrow the language of Professor Tijani. I commend Sarah for the audacity to launch this very impressive intellectual delivery. So that's on the angle of commendation. Then few observations that I think will improve the quality of your paper, because I believe you will send the paper to us for consideration in the International Journal of Migration and Global Studies. So if you want to do that, some of these observations may be useful. One, I want to ask, the study population was limited to African entrepreneurs in Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya. Is there a reason for that? Because I think there is no representation from Southern Africa, no representation from North Africa, no representation at all from Central Africa. So the scope of your study is limited to Nigeria representing West Africa, then Uganda and Kenya representing African entrepreneurs from East Africa. So if there's a reason for that exclusion, it will be good to know. That's one, the first observation. Then second observation is in the area of data analysis. So the tables, I think you need to clean up the tables, because I could see percent, valid percent showing the same data. You know, the percent and the valid percent in across all the tables, the figures in the percent and the figures in the valid percent are the same. So in a table like that, you need only column for percent, especially if the numbers are identical. So there's no need to put two categories of percent in a frequency distribution table. So I think I'm suggesting that you could delete the column for valid percent, especially if it's the same with the data in the column for percent. Then the cumulative percent is not necessary. The reason is this. You know, when you were presenting the data, the cumulative frequency was useful up to the addition of agree and strongly agree. So by the time you move to the column for neutral and disagree, the cumulative frequency loses value, because there's no way to cumulate agree, disagree together with neutral. So for that reason, the column for cumulative frequency to be deleted from all the table, because it's not needed in a descriptive statistical analysis. On this note, once again, I want to commend you, because the work is very good. The narrative is quite useful, and you were so calm in your presentation, and I'm highly impressed, really. So keep it up. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you. I can't see another hand up. So Sarah, you may wish to respond to the comments.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the questions. They are, I'm going to try my best to answer these questions as best as possible. And for the recommendations, I say thank you once more. I am going to definitely look into those recommendations and make adjustments where necessary. So addressing your question, Ma, you were concerned about protecting employees working remotely from being scammed, right, by their employers. So was it the employees you're worried about, or the employers?
I'm worried that fake employers are more on remote jobs than the genuine ones. And so invariably it affects both. I mean, it won't affect the employer, it's going to affect the employee. So how do we get those fake ones out? How does the employee protect himself from falling into the hands of those scammers?
Okay, so based on my study, like I said, I think I'm going to have to answer other parts of your questions as well in this my answer. I focused more on the small to medium scale organizations. Based on my demographic, the largest employer here, the largest organization here has 55 employees, which is a restaurant business, while the smallest employer here, based on my demographic, has just 6 employees, and it's in the fashion business. So in order to protect employees from fake employers, I feel like the employers have more to lose than the employees, because except maybe you as the employer, you are mostly dealing with IT. That is, IT organizations having to use your intellectual property. That is when you are likely to be scammed. But in terms of organizations that have physical stores, which is what I kind of focused on. Employers that have on sites like an address, a walk-in store. Those are the employers that I focused on. And for these employers, I feel like they have more to lose than the employees. Now, let's put, for instance, in Nigeria, if you as an employee do not get your salary on time and the employer is out of the country, there are assets in that workplace that you can pick, sell, destroy, which will amount to significant losses to the employers. So regarding that, I feel like it's the employers that need to protect themselves more, which is why I am researching about ways not only retain your employees, but also to increase their satisfaction and loyalty, given the fact that there's a geographical distance here. So in some cases, even when the employees fault the employers are not in the best position to lash out in fear of the employees destroying property, stealing property, or selling their properties off without them knowing while they're outside the country. So I feel like these strategies can help protect the employers, aside from the fact that there's a contract signed at the beginning of recruitment and selection. There's a contract signed, and if any of your employees fault that contract, or if you as the employer faults the contract, you are liable to go to court, whether it's the court in Nigeria or the court in the country wherever you're situated in. So the employers are the one that should be protected from scam employees, because it's a fact that human beings like to take advantage, and when they see the opportunity to take advantage or scam you, they want to try and do it. So if small businesses, they incorporate these strategies, they utilize these virtual tools that I mentioned, they give the employees a sense of belonging, a sense of unity, they are less likely to perform those scams on their employers. But in the sense of employees working remotely for IT companies, probably doing intellectual work like developing websites, doing some creative writing or creative evaluation, things like that. In as much as the contract is there, the employee is still likely to be scammed. So in cases like this, the employee will just have to apply discernment when working with employers. So you need to be able to recognize when an employer is genuine and when an employer is not genuine. And there are several ways to know this. I've seen on social media where, for instance, on Twitter, the last one I saw was some young Nigerians that had the idea for a website, and they were scouting for investors, and they eventually came across an investor that was willing to carry the entire cost of what they needed, and it turned out to be that investor was a scam. They did not really do their due diligence in that matter, because they were just excited about the prospect of getting an investor that would sort out all the bills. But they did not do their in-depth research on that employer, on the companies that so-called investor has invested in the past or presently. So like I said, you as, the idealist, or you as the employee, you have to apply, wisdom when dealing with certain employers or investors, so that you don't fall in the hands of scams or ingenuine employers looking to take advantage of unsuspecting victims online or virtually. So that is what I would say concerning that question. And for the categories, like I said, the biggest company, according to my demographic, that's my qualitative demographics, was a restaurant business that had 55 employees. Now, I couldn't get the exact name of that restaurant, nor the I can't share the exact name of the restaurant or the owner of the restaurant due to the confidentiality agreement that was signed in the process of obtaining this data. So yeah, I think that's an oversight. I was supposed to kind of categorize them, but I just put them beside nature of business. So beside the nature of business, there is a number of employees, there is the industry, and the participant ID. So that was how I was able to categorize them to my on my demographics table. So did I answer your question, ma?
Yeah, you did. But take note, you will need to do
Okay.
that in your work to
Okay.
categorize that
Okay.
SMEs, because that's
Okay.
more scientific to do it that way. Thank you.
Okay, ma. All right, ma. Thank you, ma. So to answer Professor Tijani's question, you made mention of talent hunting and management globally because of the platform. The platform is for global studies, which is correct. But my topic is basically covering an aspect of international students or international workers that still run their business across borders. So even if the business is not being operated in the country that they are currently situated, they are still running that business across borders regardless. So it's still an international operation. So my case study, you asked a question about the group, the focus, the group basically the case study, and I focused the study on African entrepreneurs that are residing in the UK, but they are still operating their business overseas, which is back in their home countries. You asked a question about the people interviewed. So based on the advice, Professor Tijani's hand is up. So
Yeah, thank you for that. I was going to say that I was only commending you for giving us another dimension.
okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So for the people interviewed, based on the advice and instruction of my professor, I was supposed to only interview 10% of the total population of my quantitative survey. And my quantitative participants was 50 participants. So 10% of that was 5 people. And unfortunately for me, I could not quite get the consent of people. There was we had some participants from the from South Africa, the southern part of Africa. We had participants from Zimbabwe, we had participants from Egypt and all that, but they didn't quite give consent due to the busy schedule of the people, the people living here, which was quite unfortunate. And the people that gave consent were just people. We had three participants from Nigeria. Shout out to the people from Nigeria because they were really helpful in my research. And I had somebody from Kenya and Uganda also participated in the qualitative aspect of this research. But in terms of the quantitative, I had people from all over Africa participating that participated in this research. But in my demographics, I did not ask them to specify their country because I didn't want it to complicate my analysis. Basically, we have so many countries in Africa, so it was just best for me to just streamline it to East Africa, West Africa, North and South Africa, which was what I did in my demographics. So I hope that answered your question, sir.
Okay. You want to answer that of Professor Hakim now?
Yes, I want to answer that of Professor Hakim. So, fun fact, Professor Hakim was my project supervisor while I was in the University of Lagos. He played an instrumental, he played a significant role in, me pursuing my education, me having to aim higher in my academics. He was really, he was my best professor back in in University of Lagos. He was a very good HOD as well. I wasn't there when he was HOD, but I heard stories. I heard the compliments and all that. So I want to say a big thank you to you, Professor Akinwale, for your support, for your commitment to my growth. I really appreciate you, and I am very fortunate to have you in my corner. Thank you so much, sir. So to answer your question, first of all, thank you for the commendation. I really appreciate it. You are very honest in your commendation and also your criticism, which is what I really admire about you. You don't hold back. So far, you feel like it's going to help to, elevate the quality of the study or the quality of whatever product it is you're advising on. I really appreciate that about you. So, you made mention of my tables, right? So for the tables, we were instructed to use SPSS to analyze our data. And using SPSS to analyze the data, it's it brings your data analysis out in this kind of tables. And it was not possible for me to remove some section of those tables, but based on your recommendation now, I will try to see if I can remove those tables or if I'll have to redesign a table using Excel or Word document to only accommodate the relevant section of those tables. What else? You made mention of the representation for the quantitative, why there were they were just from West and East. Like I mentioned, I was required to interview 10% of the participant of my quantitative survey, which was 5. And due to the busy schedule of people here, I was able to get the consent of just mostly Nigerians, and then I got a few consent. I got consent from one participant in Uganda and one in Kenya. However, for my quantitative survey, I had a number of people from all over Africa, east, west, south, and north. I had everybody, they contributed to that survey. I believe they did that because it was more flexible for them. They didn't need to make themselves available for me to interview and spend time because of their busy schedule. So be rest assured that my quantitative survey is more diverse than the qualitative. I hope that answered your question, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for
May I
those
quickly say
responses.
something?
But let me say,
Sorry,
somebody is
Director.
talking. Oh, I
Yes,
didn't
it's
even
me.
hear. Okay.
Before they make announcement again, I was commending your effort on the other side of the research. And I think a comparative or a joint work with someone in peace studies, in migration studies proper, or in history is an area that we can look into, this issue of talent management or talent hunting as a major, aspect of migration, Japa, Jalo, Japada, that we've not really contextualized. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir.
And thanks for teaching us. I have learned.
You're welcome, sir.
Now, maybe I'm also adding one more job to your job. In this study, I do realize that this small business thing is, cross-border, so to say. You can be in Nigeria and have a business in UK, or you can have be in UK and have in Nigeria, something like that. I think that's what. But then you must also address remittances. As this business is crossing this border, the output, how does it go? Supposing that means, because some of us believe that if you don't have anybody here, you can't run a business from the UK, for example. You are in the UK and you want to run a business here. We believe that if you don't have anybody here, you can't do it. Of course, you have one or two that you have employed. What I mean by anybody, your own personal person. That's what I mean by anybody.
To do the audit,
So you cannot. So, but then how do you get that money, that naira? Okay, you put it in the bank, and then when you want to take it, how easy is it for you to come back? And so let's talk a bit about remittances and this cross, whatever. I don't know if there's a way to still include it in your work, Why not? It will make it very beautiful, and that will make your work even more relevant to this center then, because we are migrating the business and migrating the money too. So all are migrating. It's not only human beings that migrate. You understand? So all these things migrate, and we need to know how they add up to the growth, the prospects of the nation, especially your homeland, Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you
So,
for your input.
as I'm not seeing any hand up again, I want to really thank you for this wonderful presentation. You know, like I said, for being able to come out and present, I really appreciate that. And that's what we want. I wish, well, you look young, maybe you're an old woman, but I want to say, I wish you many young ones.
Hello, Ma. Hello, Ma. I have a question.
Yes, who is this place? Abimbola Bodude.
Yes,
who?
Ma.
Can
I'm from the University of Lagos.
Okay.
Me, Ma.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Ma.
Good afternoon.
Professor Akimale invited me to join the.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So what I want to ask is, it's looking like she's not a student at the National Open University. So I'm wondering, what is the connection? Is it that you allow people to present their papers, or on what basis is this?
Okay. You were not here at the beginning. We always tell you why we are here and what we are all about. This is a center of excellence in migration and global studies of the National Open University of Nigeria, that's praised to reach all the four corners of the world. So we are located in Noun, but we are all over and doing migration business and global studies. That's our business. And so we have a room for you. If you want to present your paper, why not? You let us know and we give you a date and you present it, we critique it. We don't even take a dime from you, free of charge, FOC. So it's a very so it is a center that has been on for about 4 years. I said all that at the beginning. Sixth fund from Tech Fund was used to fund this center. So we are highly recognized and we are for quality. So if you want to present, like now that Mrs. Sarah Omagbemi has presented and she wants to publish with us, we will now start giving her all the corners here and there so that our paper will be good. And it's always peer reviewed by at least 3 reviewers. So we are there, we are here for business, and business of quality, of academics, of research. So let me just leave it at that because I don't want to take more time. Okay. So
thank you so much.
Maybe yes, so if you're interested, you get in touch, then we speak. Right?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Prof. Sir. I appreciate it.
Okay. So like I was saying, I thank the presenter and I'm happy that she was able to come out. And of course, you will see that coming here will just improve your work because many heads are here who know more than maybe the person who is even presenting, so that they beef it up, at least academically, your paper becomes standard. I can assure you of that. So we thank you and we want you to reach out to more youths, more students, let them come on this platform because this is what we know how to do best. On that note, I want to thank all of you who have been here. We have spent at least 1.5 hours here on this platform. Thank you. And because it is Sarah Mogbemi today, that's why we are leaving early. Some of the professors, when they come online, they really have many stories to tell us. And, you know, and we have to remain there and argue many things. But because it is one of us who Professor Sijani was asking, is a master student in the UK.
Okay.
So that's why we went free and
I think
fast.
in the spirit, Professor Aneta, in the spirit of that, can we have a moment of silence in memory of late Mrs. Sogolo, the wife of Baba Sogolo, that is always present, one of the people that
she
is always there for us.
Yeah, actually, that is a good one. So let us kindly observe a minute silence for the let's put our everything on silent when we do that. Then when we when we now put on, we say amen. So let us, a minute silence for the wife of late Professor Emeritus Sobolo.
May our gentle soul rest in peace. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that reminder. Honestly, Prof is always here, and we really appreciate his presence and contributions to everything we do here on this platform. And another person that is always here that I've not seen lately is Professor Abdallah. So I will soon reach out to him and disturb him the way I used to do. And he will now know that we are missing him. Thank you so much. Of course, Professor Tijani is always here with us. He's part and parcel of us. And he's the owner of this place, so he has nowhere to run to. We can see he's in the airport and he decided to still join. That's his spirit. He's always here with us. We thank you, Prof. And then, of course, all other persons on this platform, you are greatly appreciated. And we want to say a big bye-bye to everyone in the absence of no further comments. So, bye-bye, everyone, and have a nice day.